This is Comic Picks by the Glick, and my name is John Murphy, and this is Jason Glick.
Hey, and here I am. You know, it's like, I was at Anime Expo a couple weeks ago. It's like, made the mistake of going to Dark Horse, guys at Dark Horse Comics, and just saying, hey, you guys do great stuff. And I'd like to buy some stuff from you, but I actually can't, because I already own most of the stuff you're selling right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Release more, please.
Exactly. It's like, we've been, as opposed to Viz, who brings out pre-release stuff to every Comic-Con, I couldn't buy anything from Dark Horse because I pretty much own all the stuff from theirs that I read.
You're the best. You're their best compliment, man.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's like, to be honest, like Dark Horse Manga is probably the company that I own more manga from than any other company. Cause like they cater mostly specifically to my tastes.
Okay.
I mean, it's like and it's also because they generally release the dark, violent, gritty stuff. And also science fiction related. I mean, it's like more stuff like that than any of the other companies as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, because Dark Horse has been a mint off selling stuff that appeals more to like the people who frequent comic shops, like guess like me, I guess. But generally, it's like there's also a good amount of substance to pretty much all the titles they've released over the years, and like that's one of the reasons that like I keep buying their stuff year after year after year, and more than any other company, I look forward to hearing what they've announced, like for future manga licenses, than just about everyone else.
So, have they been doing? Dark House has been doing manga since the very beginning of their existence, or they cut into it just recently, or how'd that run?
They've been doing this since like the end of the '80s, I believe. Their first title was like a Godzilla manga. I think it was like the adaptation of Godzilla in 1985.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah,
the one that actually starred Raymond Burr.
Yeah.
And like well, manga isn't their primary focus since they are an American comic book company. Mm-hmm. They've released a slow and steady stream of good stuff. Like it hasn't always been classics, but a lot of this stuff isn't good enough to survive for almost coming up on 15, 20 years now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Because like as far as like the longest running title, that honor goes to Kosuke Fujishima's Oh My Goddess.
Okay. Yeah, I actually have the first volume. I picked up at a book off in Costa Mesa, and it's the first manga, the Dark Horse one.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. I mean, it's like it's certainly like a forerunner of a lot of the otaku friendly titles that you see today. I mean, it's also one of the first like harem manga style things because even though it focuses on Keiichi Morisato, like this schlub who winds up actually dialing into this goddess hotline and something of a goddess Belldandy, who agrees to grant him one wish. Mm-hmm. His one wish being, I wish that a goddess like you would stay by my side always. Mm-hmm. Yes, and this leads to like lots of wacky hijinks as he tries to actually improve his relationship with Belldandy, and also has to contend all the weirdness that she brings into his life with her own godly nature and that of her sisters, the sultry half goddess, half demon Erd, and
Scold.
Yes, the one who's always got all the crazy gadgets and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And it's like even though it's to be honest, like the more I've read of Oh My Goddess over the years, like the more I feel it's like strengths lie in like simple single issue stories where we just get like a nice little one off idea about them using let's see, like scratch that. Let me just say that like their the strengths are when they keep more to like slice of life type stuff as opposed to like big giant world ending stuff. Because like there have been a few storylines where they have like face the destruction of the world, but generally it's more fun when we see them trying to just infuse a bit of like the weirdness into modern life, like with Erd's devices, Scold's potions, and also all the weird people who inhabit Keiichi's motor club.
Yeah,
and more refreshingly, it's as the series goes on, like it focuses less and less on it's like are Keiichi and Belldandy actually going to finally confess their love to each other? But it gets to the point where it's like that kind of becomes mostly a non-issue. Like they're going to stay together, and even if there's no actual consummation, it's like it gets the feeling that they do love each other, and that's pretty much like it's just going to be staying together for the rest of the series. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the OAVs were based off of and then the TV series that recently came out.
There's been plenty of anime based off of this as well.
Right.
Speaking of anime that's based off one of their mangas, let's see. We've also talked about another series that on our anime podcast that's getting an anime adaptation. That would be Blade of the Immortal, which opinions may differ, but for me, this is my all-time favorite Dark Horse manga series. To boil it down for you, it's basically the story of an immortal samurai, Manji, who hooks up with a girl named Rin, whose family was killed at the hands of a maverick samurai faction, the Ito Ryu, led by a man named Anotsu Kagehisha. Notsu's plan is to basically unite all the sword schools in Japan under his own rule to just show that strength is best. I mean, like all the formality and courtesy and chivalry that the sword schools have today means nothing if you're not the strongest one of all.
Gotcha.
And that's why Rin's father. That's why his sword school is crushed underneath him. So she hires Manji to basically to kill Anotsu and get her vengeance against them. Now, if that was all there was to the series, it's like it wouldn't be worth mentioning. I mean, it'd just be like another Shonen Jump wannabe that wouldn't be worth anyone's time.
Like battle after battle after battle, and that'd be about it.
Exactly. Yeah. What makes Blade of the Immortal great is that it's constantly playing with who has the moral superiority in just about every given situation. There's always it's never entirely clear who's in the right in almost every situation, especially when Rin finally gets a chance to come face to face with Anotsu, and basically he tells her, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, it's like I know you think I'm the best guy in the world, but you know what? Until I achieve my goals, so what? Oh yeah, and you know that special technique you've got? So she's got this thing where she flings a bunch of daggers at her opponents. She's like, that's heresy in the eyes of your father's school. You're halfway to becoming one of us already." And it's just beautiful. Like after he says that, he turns his back on her, and she's trying to throw some of the will to throw these daggers, but she just can't do it. And it's moments like that that just get to the heart of the moral core of the series that just really grab you and make you want to know what's going to happen next. I mean, it's great seeing how the relationship between all the characters develop over time. Because aside from Manji and Rin, you also get the Mugai Ryu, a group of assassins who are working for the shogunate, who are basically like death row criminals who are working towards pardons. But while some of them are actually noble, others really deserve to stay on death row. And then the members of the Ito Ryu themselves aren't necessarily all bad people as well. I mean, they're just swordsmen who just don't fit in with the rest of the Edo era society that Blade of the Immortal comes from. Yeah. Now, I will say that the current storyline, best referred to as the prison arc, which has Manji kidnapped by members of the shogunate and basically has them experimenting on him to find out his secrets of his immortality, isn't the best part of the series. But it's still as far as Blade of the Immortal goes, I feel that it's executed in a compelling fashion, and even if it's not the best arc of the series, it's still better than a lot of other people's best efforts. So really, it's like there's anything you're going to buy from this podcast, buy Blade of the Immortal. You might say, hey, Jason, it's 19 volumes. I say, yeah, that's like 19 volumes of pure manga goodness right there for you to pick up. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. As far as buying stuff goes, I've been informed that Dark Horse's most popular, most successful manga series, just about ever, is Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's written by Kazuo Koike, illustrated by Goseki Kojima, and it's a story of an assassin, Ito Ogami, who is not assassin. Scratch that. He's a shogun's executioner, who was framed for trying to kill the shogun, and instead of actually taking his life and just like a good retainer would, he basically says, "Hey, screw you guys! I'm going to become an assassin. I'm going to find out and expose people who did this to me and get my revenge." And basically, the fun part is that while he gave a choice between his son between coming along and I'm just dying right there, and keep in mind that his son is when he chose this was like like a few weeks old at best. His son, like Ito gives him, here's the ball. And I go, here's the sword. Which one do you want? so Daigoro goes over to the sword, just, oh, son, we should chosen the ball, but now you're going to come with me on the road to hell as I see my vengeance against these people.
Yeah.
So that's the whole Lone Wolf and Cub relationship. It's Ito Ogami and his son traveling the assassin's road to hell as he tries to find the evidence and revenge against the people who framed him. Now, the series is 28 volumes long, so it's extremely popular in Japan. But the thing is, like, even though it's 28 volumes, I mean, it's not all like plot advancement for the most part. I mean, like the first first half of the series is basically like Ito, like I'm going through like lots of Edo era Japan and just like exploring the culture there. I mean, like the best part about the series, like for the most part, I'm of the opinion of, is that it's probably the best examination of the samurai lifestyle you'd see in manga.
So he travels around, kind of like what's that one? Samurai Champloo. They're just walking around, just doing their business.
Only without all the hip hop.
Oh, without the hip hop, right?
Yeah, because it's more like there is the experience. You get a window into what society was like back then, and also plenty of unique and interesting stories, such as when Ito comes across a Buddhist trickster who basically challenges him to give up the sword and say, hey, you know what? You're not doing anyone any favors by this. If you can beat me in a fight, you can try it. It's like then I'll let you go on, because this is the guy who makes his living by sitting at a table with a hole in it, so he can just move his head and avoid getting hit by people for money.
God.
So naturally, it's like Ito has to go try and like kill this guy in order to move on. And then you also got another Buddhist teacher who basically tells like he was just like leading a rebel sect, and Ito was hired to kill him, but Ito finds out that this guy can't kill him because this guy doesn't project any aura at all. He's just his inner soul is so calm that Ito has to talk to the guy and has to find out, well, how can I kill you? How do I do this? And the guy tells him, well, you got to learn to you have to learn the teachings of the Buddha. I wish I could remember the exact thing
Something
he says,
like
but it's a lot of fun to see like him like explore the society and just like find all these little facets of era life in Japan.
And what about that's the first half of the set?
Yeah, the second, basically like after a while though, it's like he actually does get a plot well, more straightforward plot anyway, as Ito gets a lead on the Yagyu clan who set him up and actually finds out their secrets and basically it's about destroying them, trying to find a way to destroy them and achieve his vengeance. Now it doesn't go exactly as planned, but it wouldn't have been any fun if it did.
And by the way, he's still towing around his kid.
Oh yeah, that's plenty of fun with Daigoro as well, because there are plenty of people who do try to like save Daigoro and want to bring him over to like a nice normal life. But no, Daigoro, it's like they can tell by looking in his eyes that no, he's destined to spend the rest of his time with his dad there on the assassin's road to hell. God, Lone Wolf and Cub was so successful that Kazuo Koike titles have become a cottage industry for Dark Horse. I mean, like the only other title they released flipped though was Samurai Executioner, story the story of another executioner for the shogun, Kubikiri Asa, and it's more of like a procedural type story, just him like encountering like a criminal and just finding out the story behind him and then just killing him. It's good stuff. I mean, it's like if you like the formula of Kazuo Koike's stories, then like the rest of his stuff becomes almost a no-brainer. Okay. Now, as far as other like notable titles from Dark Horse's past, you get You're Under Arrest, 2 volumes of You're Under Arrest, which they released prior to like around the time of Oh My Goddess. Now, like it's a fun little series. Like if you've seen the manga, it's like I'm sure you'll enjoy this. Also, Shadow Star, one of the unfortunate titles from their Super Manga Blast anthology that didn't last long enough to get the entire series reprinted over here, because it's really great, disturbing stuff about.
Now, earlier you said that these were flipped, right? So all of these are put in order from left to right.
Yeah, I probably should have said this at the beginning. All the Dark Horse titles I'm talking about right now, they're all flipped so that you read them normally from left to right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because flip meaning because manga, for everyone that doesn't know, manga is printed in
Right to left.
In right to left.
Yeah, but there's a time, believe it or not, back in the early days when like they had to flip all this stuff, or else American audiences wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also another, probably like the most obscure title from Dark Horse that they've released in recent years is The Two Faces of Tomorrow, a great hard science fiction story. It's a great meta premise about a bunch of scientists who they figure like, hey, you know what? We're trying to like introduce a new AI in order to the system that governs Earth here, but we got to find out whether or not it's actually going to go insane and try to take us over. So we're going to try to test out this artificial intelligence on a space station to see if it goes insane and tries to kill us all. Mm-hmm. It's a clever premise, and I wish I had done a bit more to play with it, because naturally the AI doesn't quite go insane. It just starts responding to its the human's attempts to provoke it into going insane extremely well. Hmm. But it's a good hard SF tale. It'll appeal to anyone who's got who appreciates good old school science fiction. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, and another one of Dark Horse, another author who's become a cottage industry for Dark Horse is Masamune Shirow, who you've probably familiar with a lot of his anime adaptations, such as Appleseed, Dominion, and of course, Ghost in the Shell. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, let me just say that with most exceptions, Shiro tends to be far too complex for his own good. I mean, you'll hear most people talk about how great his art is, how detailed it is, and kinetic. Yeah. But really, you don't hear anyone talk about, hey, you know what? I really like Shiro's storytelling. Let's try to imitate that as well. Mm-hmm. That's because Masamune Shirow loves to go into god-awful amounts of detail about the physics, the belief systems, the politics of all the worlds he creates.
Philosophies.
Yes.
He's very much into that.
And it winds up just polluting a lot of his good stuff. I mean, it's like, there's in Appleseed, that stuff actually, there's actually a point to that stuff. I mean, that you read the stuff and it actually makes sense. It just takes a lot of work to pay attention. Right. With Dominion, though, both the original Dominion series and Conflict 1, No More Noise, those are the highlights of his series because of it, highlights of his entire output, because it highlights his sociopathic sense of humor, where basically you just give the police a bunch of tanks and just let them go and enact justice in any way they see fit. You know, it's like, hey, criminal rights? Screw that, man. They're criminals. They don't deserve rights. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great sociopathic fun. Mm-hmm. Ghost in the Shell, however, I found thoroughly disappointing. Because,
really?
Yeah, because I'll admit, most of my bias against the first Ghost in the Shell series comes from watching the movie, then buying the manga, expecting to see more of the stuff that I saw in the movie. I got something that was much more complex, much more goofy, and just like a lot less focused than what you saw in the movie. Mm. Overall, I felt the movie did a great job of taking the best bits of the manga and just making a good cohesive story out of them. Mm. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's entirely bad, but overall I have a hard time recommending it.
Okay.
That's in contrast to the sequel series, Ghost in the Shell 2, Man-Machine Interface, which for me stands as the worst manga I have ever read from Dark Horse. Because all the stuff I hate about that annoys me about Shiro, like his needless complexity and his tendency to I don't know,
over philosophize.
Yeah, just stuff like that. Uh-huh. And it just cranks it all the way up to 11, because I swear to God, I have no goddamn idea what this manga is about. I mean, it's got a vague tie-in to the original series. I mean, I think the main character is supposed to be Motoko from the original series, but she's been changed through her merging with the Puppet Master or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I read the series twice, and it's like I still couldn't make heads or tails of this. I mean, it's absolutely impenetrable. I mean, if you did have a vested interest in what Shiro's going off about here, then you're going to be completely lost. And what's worse is that there aren't any characters or situations you can try to latch onto and try and find a way into this world. I mean, it's like he's just telling you it's a Shiro ranting on for over 300 pages about stuff that interests him. And God, so glad I didn't pay money for this. I just borrowed it from a friend. Anyway, but hey, that's just me. And like I said, there's plenty of other good stuff from the old school of Dark Horse that you can get your hands on.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Next week, though, we're talking about moving to the more modern era and talking about the all the unflipped titles that Dark Horse has been produced. Like now that they've shown that reading stuff right to left isn't can be acceptable to modern audiences.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, and that'll wrap it up for this time. We'll see you next time.
Laters.